Hello there, outliers. Niiamah, Sean here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey today. Well, we have ourselves an incredible roundtable here on Outliers Edge Live. We are joined by Dr. Marty Trevino and Victor Kostroub. Dr. Marty, Victor, thank you so much for making the time for this, and thank you all for accumulating the experience that will make this conversation a really fruitful one.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Honored to be here.
So I like to get everything started by making sure outliers get a chance to get to know you and like what you stand for in the world, what you're creating in the world, and such. And the way I like to ask this is would you mind letting us know more about you and the game you are currently playing?
Sure.
Yeah, let's
Um,
start off with yeah. Go ahead, Marty.
yeah, okay. Oh, sorry. My apologies here. Camera for just a second.
Yeah,
Um, get this correct. I apologize.
yeah.
Yeah, no, my name is Dr. Marty Trevino. I'm a cognitive scientist, cognitive neuroscience and technology. And my purpose with that is how do we incorporate the hard sciences into technology for defined outcomes? So how can we bring neuroscience? How can we bring a deep understanding of the cognitive sciences and make technology better for human beings?
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you for being here, Dr. Marty. Victor, how about you? Let us know more about you and the game you're
Yeah,
playing.
no, sure. I've been in the
Dr. Marty,
private sector. Sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Add on a little bit more, and then Victor will come to you on there. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Okay. No. Yeah. Again, doctorate in the sciences. Been in the private sector for about 6.5 years now. Prior to that, I served our country as a senior technical director with the National Security Agency, as a United States cyber spy, Iraq, Afghanistan, the global war on terror. Did that for many years. Multiple university degrees to get to the doctorate, and I the driving force behind my work was, why is it that how do we make decisions with data as human beings? That's what started. How is it that we ignore data with decisions, and how can we make better decisions with technology and with data, and applied that to the security of the country, and then to finish my time with the NSA, and came out of the private sector and have since done quite a bit with companies, and of course the launch of AI moved moved that from decisions with data into human AI complementarity. And so we're applying neuroscience and other cognitive sciences to artificial intelligence and systems, and how do we build optimized complementarity for really good outcomes, not bad ones.
Oh, I love this. I love this here. Thank you for that distinction. I'm glad you added that bit in there. I feel like we got a better chance to get to see you and the game that you're currently playing. So thank you so much, Dr. Marty. Victor, would love to hear more about you. Would you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're playing?
Yeah, of course. Um, I think it's important to mention that I'm an immigrant. I moved from Ukraine, but to be exactly, it was back then, it was Soviet Union. The culture difference there is the way we were raised. Nobody would tell us, "Hey, Victor, you can do this. You can do this. Hey, Victor, you have such a great potential." It was more like responsibilities. And then, so I went to the school. My grades were good because my father would be very analytic, and he would not reward you, but he would punish you if your grades were not good. And one day I became so honest and I said, I just don't see the point of this. And I just don't like, I don't want to do this. And his argument was, this is how the life works. You just have to discipline yourself, but life doesn't work like go after your passion. So then I go to college, and I get the first, I was blessed with money as a student, but then going into that second year, again, I have the same realization. How is this life works? Is that again, I have to wake up because I have to, not because I want to. And I became sick and tired of this. And my grades went down, and my teacher said, "Hey, Kostroub, if you continue this road, you're going to lose all of the privileges." And my argument again is because I don't want to, I don't see the future of this. I don't see the point of this. And she simply repeats the same thing that my father said. And it took me another maybe month and I dropped it off because deep inside of me, I had that faith that no, life should not work this way. Even if everybody says this is the only way, I had a strong conviction in me that no, I have to find a way, and nobody can help me with that, but I will find it. So even back then, I started following my passion, and I was already successful, but even in that country. But moving here is the reason I was able to build this successful company because I had the goal and I had the strong passion for that. We can talk later about that. I'm just going to finish quickly going with that, it was about maybe 10 years later into the business. Business still was in development. It's still a lot of work, but something was like a burning desire inside of me, people's potential, because I could see a lot of people just like me, even though they're here, like my kids, I have three sons. What are they going to do? Because mostly this young generation, when you get that, when you reach 20, I'm not even talking about the privileged 5% that was mentioned at the beginning. I'm talking about the majority of the people. When they reach 20 and you ask them, what is your meaning of life, what is your calling, they don't have a clue except for a few people who are lucky. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm helping people to find that niche, to find that potential, and help them believe in themselves. And that's what moves me day to day. That's my play game.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this in here. And I want to understand for you, each of you, like your why, what drives you, when you run into challenges, what keeps you continuing to move forward. And I think that's something that we're really exploring here at Outliers Edge, especially in like this season of it all. I also, when I said this season, I can't help but notice the snowfall in Victor. I think it is like, it's a really cool background. It's like,
Yeah.
it is real. It is taking place here, you know? So let's see. There's a couple different things. One, I want to just like presence the you talk about the privileged 5%. Now I want to just like bring that into this space here so the outliers can join the conversation with us. And for anyone that's listening live, like this is happening in real time. So you can ask any questions you have, and if we can, we'll incorporate it into the conversation. And like like we are all having the conversation here together. All right. And so we were talking beforehand about like the 5% and I'll summarize it in this way. If we need to add any more context to it, we will. But it was about like the population works in a bell curve, and that innovation tends to live with the like a 5% of the population tend to be the innovators that are actually moving the ball forward and making things happen, right? And so. That part I think that's really interesting because I'm actually right now playing with like my experience in life has been one of being in what I'll call like the statistical 3%. You know, and when I was working in corporate as a retirement actuarial consultant, they're like 3% of the people in that field were African American. Or when I went to work in tech, they're like 3% of the people in the U.S. were African American. So Victor, when you start off with like starting off with like I'm an immigrant to start off this entire thing here, I think that there's a lot that is in just those few words, those first three words right there, that actually like help to pinpoint our experience as outliers in at least one part of our experience of outliers. And what I love about what both of you do is that you've taken it to like this really high levels in what in the things that you've done. So I'm going to put this question in for both of you here. I guess basically what I'm saying is I respect you both. Thank you, thank you for being here, and thank you for playing at the levels you did. So Victor, you were talking about like this thing that like deep in you became sick and tired with what like the status quo was telling you, like, well, represented by your father and also by your teacher. I'm curious for the two of you here. What's something that right now y'all are experiencing that most people either say it can't be done, or that's not how it's supposed to be done, or that's not how it is, that you are either actively working against, or you are or the thing that you're creating right now will disprove. What would either of you like to speak to that?
Yours,
Yeah.
Victor?
Uh, well, yeah, I can speak. Well, let me give you the map of my life and show you where I am. Maybe a lot of listeners could relate to that. Like I said, first when I came, what was to my advantage, I believe, because I was hungry. And then when you're hungry and you have a goal, that's the key to become successful. And especially if you know your passion. And so it was kind of like coming to work. You don't even look at the watch clock. It's like 8 hours to you. It's like half an hour. And I even at some point I became a workaholic. It was so hard for me to finish. And then I realized I have a young child. We're married, but thank to God, my wife was so nice that she would take care of my son. I would never have to wake up by like, hey, this is your turn right now, do this. My wife would never ask me that. But with that I became a workaholic, so focused on building my business. So it helps you. And then, as I said, I'm going to show you the map. And then, as you go through your life, and secretly or subconsciously, you have some desires: big house, nice cars, then designer clothes. Because especially as an immigrant, you're all about the outward. Then you find in here people like multimillionaires, and they have a T-shirt that they don't even know the brand, and it's like of course this is different culture, and we meet here, but nevertheless I go to and I build this to the point of like reaching that summit, and you get to the comfort zone. So now you don't have a hunger. What moves you after that?
Mm.
And I'm still not old. I'm like that time I was still only reaching 40, and I could be retired. I don't have to go to work. And one day I realized my comfort zone is works against me. That's like being an immigrant and coming with nothing actually works to my advantage. I was driving, I was leaving at that time. That challenge, every time facing the challenge, actually, that I thought, man, maybe I'm not privileged enough, but actually that worked well for me. But right now, as I'm sitting in that comfort zone, I hated myself. I just hated myself. And one time I go to vacation, and I'm thinking, what would be the desirable vacation? And I think I said to myself, I don't want to get even one phone call about business. I don't want to have nobody bother me. And that was like zero challenges. And that was the time when I was miserable, just miserable. So saying that, I from that point reaching that comfort zone, it takes a few people, very small percentage. Like we're talking about, like Tony Robbins teaching, like John Maxwell. It's you go. You don't have to now. You don't have the time, but you don't have to go from here. And but if you have a goal, and that would be like building your legacy, or share your wisdom with others, or and then more like help other people, because now it's not like you're not as selfish as you were before. Before, it's hard to admit, but all of your desires were about you. You were very selfish. And now you have a choice actually to help other people. You can really think how to help other people, and that's what moves me right now. So my goal was born from this comfort zone, and I'm blessed because I have a goal. I have a goal, and that's where I'm moving in my map right now.
So I'm really grateful for this year, Victor, and Dr. Marty. I want to bring you in here for either any response to that. I'm curious, actually, what does this bring up for you? Like when you hear either the map there or the original question I had, what does this bring up for you?
Um, yeah, that was actually beautiful by Victor. Back to the original question. I mean, what so I live in a world of science and technology, right? Where the science is extremely complicated, the technology is extremely complicated, and and if you're talking about that top 3%, right, where all the innovation lives. Where right. It's the 0 to 1, man. Where can we really move the noodle forward? In the world, it's going to make a difference for all of us. Okay, and that is one thing that gets me up in the morning. I love to make a difference for as many people as possible. It's really entropy, I guess to say, is the number one thing I fight against. It's not one person. It's the most organizations, most leaders, are very stuck in today's survival mode. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
the margins are lean. The competition is fierce. How do you get real innovation out in the world? Right. We can't
Yeah.
afford to invest in that. We don't have the time, and I see it in everything from their hiring to their daily ongoings. Right, when you look, um, people ask me at times, "Oh, are you a data scientist?" No, not really. No, no, I'm not. I'm a theoretical scientist who translates that into technology, and they say, "Well, what good are you?" Okay, great question, right? We need somebody to build models, and I say, okay, that's fantastic. But you're building models to do what? What, to drive sales? Okay, that's fantastic. We all, we need to pay the bills, but you're not going to 10x your improvement. You're not going to carry your organization into tomorrow. You're not going to build a legacy, like Victor was saying, by building new models. Right? You've got to find a way to 10x things. You've got to find a way to really move that noodle up the hill, and it's hard to do. So what I see most in the world is AI, is entropy, and or the riding of the wave, right? So right now you see artificial intelligence being moved into organizations, and we see the disaster of that. A report released just last week, right? That half of all organizations who go out and terminate a bunch of people are going to end up rehiring them back because people didn't do. They didn't look deeply enough at the problem. But you probably can't go out and replace 5,000 coders with AI and expect to get great outcomes. So it's I work very hard to change the thinking, and to do it by bringing in the sciences of the mind, and say, here are the reasons why we should look deeper at the problem, and we should come up with validated solutions, and today, in today's world, that's human technology and AI complementarity. Okay, if there's a word, for the initial part of this conversation, it's complementarity. How do we fuse this together in a really meaningful way that's going to have humans do the best things that humans do, while AI does the best things that AI does within a specific domain for really good outcomes? Not just, hey, we're getting the latest system and we're shoving it into the box and we're going to hope for really great outcomes. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Well, I'm appreciating this here in many different ways and outliers as people are talking. One of the things I want to say is, like, we're here to help you see things from different perspectives and help you go down new thought paths. So if anything comes to mind, bring it into the chat. Let's keep expanding on it. I'm going to come to something each of you said, because there's something in that really caught me. Victor, I'm going to start with something that you brought in here, and I'll bring it to both of you. But you talked about the hunger, you talked about the comfort zone, right? And there's when you said it, it felt very real, right? And I'm actually thinking about a number of different clients where for them, it wasn't. They would describe it as like they know how they come from scarcity, they know how to come from lack, and then they use that to create a level of success, and then eventually they kept trying to use that same level, like that same uh, the way that they were created before, to try and create the next thing, but it either didn't bring them the satisfaction, or they were working too hard, or they had other demands on their life here. So I'm really curious here, and I'll start with you, Victor, because it ties to what you were saying with hunger. But I'm curious about it for both of you here. How do you navigate when the thing that got you to a certain place stops working for you? Like the thing that was a drive for you. You're like, oh wait, I can't just keep pushing this button more. How did you navigate it? What are some of the things that you had to do or had to take on to grow into what was next?
I I want to add to what Dr. Marty said, but that's still kind of like work in the same subject we are talking about,
Mhm.
the comfort zone, hunger. As Dr. Marty mentioned, survival is like right now you see so much that survival and survival it works different. It works differently than, for example, you're hungry and you have a like clear goal where you're going to. Right now, especially with ChatGPT, right now you can go and ask ChatGPT to give you illustration of the business and A to Z how you can build a successful business. Just follow. And all of a sudden, we have this majority of people who's like their character, I would say, was never you could never think of that person, oh, that a person of integrity. And all of those people, all of a sudden, they have this drive. I can do this too. That builds jealousy. That builds that competition. That is not very healthy competition. It comes with that, and morale goes down. And morale goes down in your team, in your organization, and that's what we also deal a lot with that because even though I'm an immigrant and I've been here over 30 years, to be exactly like 35, I could still see a huge difference when I came 10 years later. And then right now, it's completely different country. It's just completely different country. Where before, like if somebody said, give you the award, that's it. It's like they will honor it. Today, it doesn't mean that much that it used to be. And so that's kind of like a sad thing. And but so to I would I would always like you have mentioned at the beginning is you have to see it and ask your question is why are you doing this? What is the meaning of why you are doing this?
Can
So
I
please,
insert something real quick?
yeah, no, no,
So
no, go, go
Victor
for it.
touches a really good point. Have you heard of the term AI psychosis?
I have not.
Okay,
No.
AI psychosis is a unique and fascinating phenomena that we're seeing today in the world, and what it is basically the not so scientific definition is when people become unable to critically think for themselves, unable they unwilling or unable to challenge the AI, they just accept what it says, and it's because of trust, the authoritative nature of the AI, they extend a level of trust to it, right? And the human brain, okay, key insight, the human brain defaults to laziness because it's
Oh,
conserving
wow.
energy. Okay, so it Daniel Kahneman years ago in his what Thinking Slow, Thinking Fast said there's a two construct of thin slice fast thinking, right? System one, and we make decisions very quickly and we trust and move on and we believe we're correct. And then there's system two, which is deep thinking, lots of context. We'll analyze things and you really want to understand the world. Overwhelmingly, especially in Western society, we think system one. We want to make a fast, quick decision, move on. I trust my gut. You hear that a lot in organizations, right? Well, AI psychosis is something that's taking over, and Victor poked at it real nice, that people are believing themselves capable of doing something. They're taking for granted what the AI says. They don't question it, right? And we see
Right.
examples of this in the world. There was a very high profile example of a gentleman who left one of the major AI companies, and he said, "I can solve a previously unsolved, math problem." And the mathematician said, "No, you can't. We haven't been able to." And he said, "No, he started his own AI company, and he made a very public, like multi-thousand-dollar bet that he could do
Hmm.
this."
Wow.
And he worked with his AI, and he came up with the proof, the theorem and everything, and he put it out there for the world and said, "Yes, I solved it." Well, the mathematicians came back and proved, "No, you didn't. Here's why you didn't." He was so convinced that the AI was right and his supreme ability with the AI, right, that he gave up the critical thinking and the inability to challenge it and say, and I mean more than just, "Oh, okay, explain yourself, AI," right?
Yeah.
To Victor's point, you have people going out there trying to do these things, or you have executives, more in my world, of executives saying, We can replace all of our researchers. We can replace all of our tech people. All right. I'm going to fire X number of tech people with AI and replace them with AI. Right. And not understanding that the relationship and the world are changing. So to your point, how do you evolve when the things that may have got you here, right? So I'm a gentleman. I'm in my 50s. Right. What got me here is not what's going to make me successful for the next 10 years of work. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's domain knowledge. It's a deep understanding of the things that I do understand, but it's also somehow finding human technology complementarity in a way that I did not need to do 5 or 7 years ago. Right. Victor's
Right.
written a couple of very great books. Right. Well, today, if Victor wanted to, he could hop onto any one of a dozen programs and write a book a day.
Yeah.
He could publish a book a day.
Yeah.
You know what? It would be pretty darn good. Pretty good. So a test from the New York Times the other day, they tested, and it was like with 80,000 people. AI writing versus human writing. And they did it in a whole bunch of very well-structured tests. 54% of the people, I believe it was, right, maybe a percent or more, preferred the AI writing when they didn't know the difference.
Wow.
Okay, so with that, how do we, if people prefer the AI writing with the book, how does somebody like Victor or myself, I publish at the highest end, and I write the occasional thing too. How do I bring that technology, that beautiful thing that it is, into my world, or how do I assimilate with it where we can make something extraordinary and not just one or the other, because we really do have to group up.
That's a great point.
Yeah, there's like I was just saying this here. I'm thinking about the complementary nature of things
Mhm.
here, and the element of like leveraging the technology as things have changed. So, Victor, you were talking about like you're like, hey, look, I feel like the country has changed every 10 years. Like it's a different like things have changed here, right? And Dr. Marty, what I hear you, and this, I feel like it goes back to the comfort zone. Um, we talk about complementary, but it's also
Mhm.
like complacency that
Right.
shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Complacency.
I
Yeah.
think that might be the underlying theme of this conversation so far. Like in many like in different ways, we're coming at how do you fight complacency when the world gets easier? You know, for you can write more than what you used to. The things that used to make you, and I'll use my language. The things that used to make you an outlier. Well, I've written a book. It was like, oh, great. So let me just type this. Let me just hit, hit the button, and here goes my book. You know, I've solved this mathematical problem, this unsolvable mathematical problem. I think that's what we're talking about here. How do you get? We're also looking at it from the element of like hunger and drive. You're like, all right, well, when I came in here, I had the hunger, and I really appreciate that distinction you made between survival and hunger. Right? Survival is like, hey, I need to do this in order to live. Hunger is I have a goal, and I want to make sure I'm getting that at that goal. But all these things seem to just keep having a lot of gravity around complacency in general. So let's put that on the table. We'll see where the conversation goes. Maybe there'll be something here. Maybe there won't be.
Mhm.
But like let's talk about like we can use the real world experience with AI. We can use the elements of continue to build into legacy. Like each of you will have your different takes on it. And I think us as outliers, we're going to benefit from that here. But if we put complacency right in the middle of the table for us here, like what are you finding to be like the most important areas to focus on, or the most like the places where in your business or in the work that you're doing right now, it's really showing up as something that you are like overcoming?
Victor, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, I wanna comment on Dr. Mari's last comments. I think it's very important everything that you brought to the table. It's I especially you coming from completely different field, and that field is for me like is like a sky. I could never reach that high. And remember also that we brought to the table innovation. It's like I think with the AI, that number will drop even more because it's so easy to take AI. Just like the example was, if you have to write a book, I have I have a many. I'm sure you too. I have like a bunch of emails that sent by different organization. They offer me to write a book using AI. Basically, it's like you don't have to do a
Mhm.
thing. You
Yeah,
just
right.
tell us in few sentences who you are, what's your goal. That's it, and we will publish the book. And I'm just thinking, where is this world going?
Yeah.
Am I going to the bookstore soon and I'm going to take a book and my trust level will be almost at zero because I will be holding, and that could be actually a genuinely written book, but I will be questioning that integrity of that author, and I'll probably will be saying no, that's AI because it just truly, if the way AI does what I tested for myself, at least when I write when I have to write a letter, yeah, of course, I can see how AI does the things. But first, what I do, I type exactly from the start to the bottom. I write my letter. Is exactly what I want to say, and then I put into the AI and see how that AI gives me their version. But it's
Mhm.
only just to correction, and then still I'm debating whether I want to take my version to save who I am, my identity, to see if that's really in match with my identity. Just for the correction, yes, but it's just so easy to cross that line. But that leads you to that complacency. It's so true. 2 years ago, we actually our company, we do have annually, we have a conference where we bring all of the executives to one conference. And before that, we lost very big contract to us, had a lot of value. And before going to that conference, I'm like the main speaker at that conference. I'm the CEO of the company. I have to think what I'm going to say, and I had some notes, and then I completely put them aside because I realized, no, this is we have to talk about our true problem. And I realized that's a complacency, just the complacency. Why? Because you had that energy when people were hungry, when people were working as a team. They really care for one another. We had that we had that unique atmosphere. When you just come, you feel it. You feel it. Everybody adds to that atmosphere. We helping one another to grow. We celebrate with one another. In here, it's like a different world. It seems like a company is very professional, but yet you don't have a heart of that. It's just that, I realize that's a complacency. And no wonder why we lost, because every comment that customer makes, that client made, it was about lacking that service that we used to deliver. It was kind of like simple requests, one after another, and we fail, we fail, we fail, and then yet they'll give you so much defense arguments like, hey, he's wrong, hey, he's wrong, where we never had that before, because we would over deliver. We had only the compliments. People were enjoying working with us. They would never, you sometimes you don't even have to go to multi-year contract, because they're never going to switch to another company. And here, just working for half a year, customer considering to work with another company, and they did. They canceled on us and went with another company. So that was like a wake up call. So I see the complacency, the sister of the complacency, that's still a comfort zone. It just
Mm.
comes, it's laziness, comfort zone. And each of us, me personally, I have to be honest enough to deal with myself. And especially if you're that person who have a talent to go after this innovation of some sort, it's worth it. It's just
Mm.
worth it. Go for it. Go for it. Don't get off road by taking AI advice and simply make it easy to yourself. Go for it, because I believe those people who bring innovation, they will be the most valued. Doesn't matter how more AI will take the world, that will be the most valued people in the planet.
Do you see us going to a world like let's pick on the author thing for a second, right? It's a really good example. Do you see us going to a world where one day we get a little blue tag that says, 100% written by, Dr. Marty, no AI, or partial AI, or So did you guys see the case just a couple weeks ago of Coral Hart, New York Times um, interview? So this author who goes, her pen name is Coral Hart. She publishes over 200 books a year,
Wow.
100% with AI. She doesn't even read the stuff. She just pumps it out, uses Anthropic's Claude, which is a great writer, right? I mean, I use Claude as a research tool, augmenting the writing. It's wonderful. But she sits down, she knocks out 200 books a year. Well, do that math, right? 52 weeks in a year, 50 weeks in a year if you take a vacation. Okay, she's pumping out numerous books a year.
It's like
She's
every
making,
other day. There's a new book
Yeah.
that's coming out.
right. Couple books a week. She quoted. She said, "I'm making well over 100 and well into six figures. I like under $200,000 a year." But she's sitting at home knocking out books on Amazon KDP. Okay, a couple books a week, and making 100 and whatever, 60, $70,000 a year, which is a great living for working in your home office, pumping out books. Now, the response from authors was, "Oh my goodness, you're literally ruining the book industry, ruining it." Okay, and of course, because there's money to be had, a lot of people are going to say, "I can do this," and they can't. It would stop nothing for any of the three of us to go on to whatever chat, Claude, Gemini, and knock out a romance book today and be publishing it tomorrow, and then pay some AI service to generate reels and blogs
That's right.
and advo, and it would cost nothing, whatever, $100, $200 a month, right? And my AI agent is now creating a dozen TikTok videos a day, Facebook ads, and I could make a couple $100,000 doing that. Well, that pays the bills for just about everyone. Where do we draw that line? How do we But then again, the take a couple weeks ago, over 50% of people couldn't tell the difference. They preferred the AI writing. So is it bad? How do you bring in is the complementarity just that I'm going to sit down and with an AI pump out a couple books a week and drive my turbo Porsche because I can, and it's not a bad life? Or do we continue to develop deep domain expertise? And like Victor said, be hungry. Go out into the world and say, man, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to do something that's actually going to make a difference for people. But it's a fascinating time that we live in, and I'm sure those authors, if you could interview Coral Hart, she'd say, I'm producing a highly valued product. People are paying for it every day. I get great reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor, I'd love to get your thoughts on it. We have a few minutes before the top of the hour, so let me get your thoughts on it, then we'll start wrapping for today.
Well, I believe that's the most critical question is Dr. Murray just raised. It's that's where we're coming to. And if the question is, do I believe that we're going to have in a bookstore at least a note? This has been written by actual author, and this is by AI. I don't think so. Because one of the human needs is the need of significance. Is if you give all of the credit to AI, how significant you're going to feel? Not really.
Yeah.
But
No.
if you have written 10 books, I'm not. Well, when you've written 200 books, at one point you do have to say and admit that I wrote with the help of AI, because nobody's going to believe you, because that's just stupid not to say this and keep lying. But if you written only like up to 5 books, and we know you can, especially, then we're going to trust you. So that's what I'm saying. As morale goes down, we're going to see that more and more. But when we're going to see that more and more, in the trust among us will go down as well. When the trust goes down, when the credibility, each of us have a bank of that trust, and if that goes down, that's the worst for any country. That's worse than corruption. When people take in the they take in money and you buy people's vote, whatever. That's worse, because then we become a bankrupt of the society of without trust. It would be terrible. It would be terrible for the country, and I hope we don't come to this. I hope there is a safety zone.
So there's something here, and like I'm thoroughly enjoying the conversation. What I want to say thank you, because we're having a conversation that matters right now. All right. I'm going to say something that feels like my take as I was listening to all of you here. I was taking down some various notes, and there seem to be like a couple key words that I'm actually going to apply when it comes to AI and complacency and beyond. Because the thing for me became, as you were talking, I realized realistically, when it comes to the outputs that we're doing right now, AI will be able to output. We chose books this time,
Right.
but it's like we can write
Right.
200 a week. In my mind, I'm like, this person's being lazy. Why not 2 a day? If you're, like, why
Yeah.
every other day? Like just hit again.
Yeah.
Just go. Why do it with AI that just goes to AI? Like
Yeah.
like 200. There's no limit to it, right? We've
Yeah.
now. So like whether like at 200 it feels small for an infinitely capable thing. I'm like, come on now, of course, if you're gonna do this, go for it, And so what that tells me, as I think about this year, I'm like, the logical limit to this year is infinity. And so like when I think about it, I'm like, all right, it's interesting we're talking about innovation, because at that point I start to think, okay, and I'm not sure about this year. We'll see where AI goes, but I'm like, okay, what are the competitive edges that we have? It's like, can AI innovate yet? Right? It can take what is already there, but can it actually innovate? And I think that like the innovators here, I call them outliers, but like the innovators are the ones that are going to be in the space of being able to continuously go. So Victor, when you say like we need to keep innovating, Marty, when you bring up innovation here, it really feels like, oh, that's the step ahead. Once it's innovated, the AI is going to just maximize it to whatever,
Right.
to infinity, right? But it's that next new level, like, and being able to capture the delta of that. I think that's where, like, at least in the short term, I can see a lot of opportunity coming. So that's something I like. I want to say I didn't get it until y'all talked here today, but that really feels like, okay, at the very least, we can outpace through innovation, and the places where people are just outputting. I think we're going to see more and more AI come into that, and the places where there's where we don't allow complacency to come in, but we keep growing. I think that's the antidote. The last thing I'll say on this here is, Victor, what you brought up around trust. When you said like, hey, you said trust can take out whole countries. A lack of trust can take out a whole countries, and so that also gives me a lot of like hope as to be like, okay, that's the other place to play. This is the reason why I do Outliers Edge like this. Like I don't actually have you all talk about your business and like what you all do in there. Why? Because I'm trying to raise the trust that people have when they watch this here. Because like I want them to get like, oh, this is how Victor thinks, and this is how Dr. Marty like goes about it. This is the unique elements you're going to get when output is going to be relatively a commodity going forward. Then it comes to who has the integrity, the trust, who do I want to, so on and so forth. And so as I hear you say that, I'm thinking about that as well in this like AI world that we're in. And that's where like the complementary part comes for me, Dr. Marty, where I'm like, go do the work, AI, go do it. Now, given that the AI is creating the output, who's like, what decisions need to be made, what trust is coming in, so on and so forth. Oof. Okay, I didn't mean to talk so much on this yet. I don't like to
No,
wrap up with so much
good,
on
it's
me,
good.
but like this is I really appreciate it. Any last comments from each of you, and then we'll wrap for today.
A couple of delineations there, and to help framing. So, the human brain is a prediction engine, and it creates mental models and framing. Accurate framing here is really good. Artificial neural nets are not the human brain, in spite of what technologists will say. The artificial neural nets are only at the highest level of conceptualization how the human brain functions. Okay, they're vastly different, and they're different because one is a technological creation that's intelligence is built on models where humans are a biological evolution. They're fundamentally very different things, but they're also uniquely complementary, right? So to your point, execution, the cost of execution has fallen dramatically. Again, staying with the author thing, I can go write a book today. So the cost of doing that, where 5 years ago, if I want to go write a book, I said this is a multi-thousand-hour
Right.
endeavor, right? So the cost of execution has fallen dramatically. But to your point, where is the complementarity in an optimal sense? Well, it could be on the front end coming up with that unique concept. I mean, you can say to an AI, come up with a new romance novel for me, but it's going to come up with something that's been done many times, maybe with a nuance or two, but it's still within the model, right? If you really want to come up with something outright out of the box, it's going to have to be a human. And then you can execute on it for a very low cost, but then where's the complementarity again? You can publish that and just go with it, or you can come back on and add your voice and add nuances and add things that the AI is not going to think about. So we have to think about the whole process there, but they're fundamentally different. Biological versus model trained intelligences, but they're uniquely complementary at the same time.
I love it. I love it. Gentlemen, we're right at the top of the hour right now. If you have another minute, I would love for you all to wrap up. If you have to take off though, please do. So like I want to make sure I frame that in here.
Uh,
Yeah.
mhm. I'm gonna finish with the last example. Why human is you cannot replace it. Like I said, when I began, I was very hungry, but literally hungry because for the 6 months I was rejected. Nobody was taken seriously because you're trying to make a deal, but you have no brand, you have no name, and kept rejecting. 6 months later, when my refrigerator literally was empty, and I was pushing, I get a call, and the lady says, "We decided to go with you." I was just like, man, I couldn't even. At first, it was like, is she really saying yes? And I want you to know why she said, because you were very persistent. Believe me, it's funny. My English was so poor at that time. I didn't even knew what the word means. I went to the dictionary because I assumed she said
Good.
because you were very smart.
Yeah.
When I open it and it says you're persistent was is a pusher, is a persistent, never stops. And I was like, wow, is if that's what you value, I can give you that a lot. So it's a humor, but yet it was trust. Because in that conversation, she felt I can trust this person regardless, and that's how it was. It was a trust, and that's humans. They make mistakes, but that's what bring us together. We love. We can. That's what gives us the comfort. That gives us romance because we do make mistakes, and that's what makes us all complement with not with one another.
Mm, mm. I think that's a great place for us to wrap for today. Like, the way we end is that I'll ask you, Dr. Marty, and then you, Victor, two questions, and we'll wrap on this. So the first question is, how can outliers go deeper down the journey with you? And then the second question is, like, putting outliers to the side. Every time I have a conversation, it should be a life changing one. And so, if there's anything in this conversation that you're leaving this conversation with, an insight or a takeaway you have, I'd love for you to be able to share it. All right. I forget who I went to first on this one. Was it you, Dr. Marty, or was it you, Victor? Who would like to go
Sure.
first? Okay.
Yeah, you named me. I'll go first. I guess I'm not on LinkedIn. I have a personal website. But yeah, if they could reach to you, the organization, and you will hand them my personal email. I'm happy to speak with anybody casually. I'm not. Yeah, I'm very approachable. So if you want a conversation on how science and technology can merge together to create strategic advantages, or keep you out of bad places. I'm happy to have that conversation with anybody. I talk to anyone. Leave you with anything. The
Oh,
world
actually,
is
this is
changing.
actually what are you leaving the conversation with?
Yeah. Wow. One, it's been a phenomenal conversation, Victor. It's been fantastic to meet you. Same as you, sir. Your podcast is awesome. I'm leaving the conversation with just really, really profound thoughts on the basic human characteristics that still apply in the world, because I think they do. I don't care how advanced the AI gets, in the next whatever 10, 15 years. Human innovation, human thought, human desire to make changes and to do it in unconventional ways is still going to be the thing that drives the world. It's gonna help us with all the things that we suffer from disease to hunger to political strife. I mean, technology is the one area that has shown real potential over the last 30, 40 years, and it continues to. So I would tell anybody listening, just dive deeper into the human element, right? And always look at things from a complementarity lens. Don't look at things
Right.
from a replacement lens. Respect the human being, because the human being is still central to us making this a better world for ourselves.
I
That's it.
appreciate it. I appreciate it, Dr. Marty. Thank you so very much for your insights here today. Victor, we'll wrap with you here. How can we go deeper down the journey, and what are the takeaways you got?
A good way to get to know me would be through this book that I believe is very relevant to what we discussed today.
Yeah.
And
Can you
just
lift it up a
why
little bit higher so we can see it?
uh,
Yeah.
why the biggest risk would be to play safe, and it's a challenging. It's very good book, and it's not written by AI. That's what I
Yeah.
can say. It's written by actual author.
Blue check.
Yeah, but I had real good people who would correct on my mistake, misspelling, and stuff like that. So it's not without that, but it's still written by author me.
Yeah.
You can find me on social media, on Instagram and others. I would love to hear people's thoughts and just come along and follow me. I would love to share anything of different success story and help you as well. What I took from this program, actually, I didn't know what to expect. I It's something. Usually, the way I look at, I'm not always say yes, especially to somebody that was not referral to me of somebody that I really know. It took me a few research to do, and maybe I went on your stories. I went to your programs, and something clicked. It just like you were very genuine, and I see the questions that you raised, especially today. There, I just love that. So I'm honored to be here. I want to say thank you for inviting me, and I just want to say, please help people because people need to hear this. What you do, it's so great. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Victor. That like I have to receive that. It means a lot. It means a lot. I appreciate all of you for making the time. You even went longer today here, so just know that that isn't done. I see it and I really respect it. Outliers, like let's go out there and do our thing, right? Let's keep hungry. Let's stay innovating. Let's look for complementary opportunities,
Right.
and let's keep growing. All right. Until the next.